I had been in a secret relationship for 5 years with my brother's best friend, planning to go public on New Year's Eve. But at the banquet, he didn't say a word about us. Instead, he leaned in and half-joked in my ear, "I'm tired of sleeping with you. Why don't you go find someone else to marry, okay?" I nodded calmly and replied, "All right." Because in my past life, I had cried and begged, insisting that I would never marry anyone but him. I got what I wanted, but after we were married, he remained cold and distant, even keeping his eyes closed during intimacy. And when I was in labor, suffering from a massive hemorrhage, he left me without hesitation to celebrate his true love's birthday at Disneyland. It was in that moment I finally understood. Love that is begged for is destined to fade. Reborn in this life, I smiled and accepted it. "I'm tired of you too. Let's end this." When I said those words, Ryan froze for a moment, as if he'd misheard me. He had always known me to explode at the slightest provocation, so why was I acting so calm now? The mocking glint in his eyes faded slightly as he studied me seriously. "Lily, do you know what I just said?" I kept my carefree smile. "Of course. Didn't you just tell me to find someone else?" In my past life, if he had said something like that, I would have pounced on him like a furious cat, clawing him until he admitted he was wrong. But this time, I chose to let him go. And by doing so, I freed myself too. Ryan frowned. "Lily, what's going on with you today?" Before he could finish, the sound of glass shattering came from the table next to us. Moments later, a woman in a white dress ran out of the banquet hall in tears. People nearby turned their heads with curiosity. My brother, Eric, nudged Ryan. "Wasn't that your ex? You invited her today? On New Year's Eve? Breaking stuff like that isn't that you're doing?" Ryan's brows furrowed even more. Without a word, he stood up and followed her out. Soon, the sobbing outside turned into quiet murmurs between the two. Meanwhile, more dishes kept arriving at our table, but I stayed silent, quietly eating what was on my plate. I used to always serve Ryan a bit of every dish, placing it in his bowl. It had become a habit ever since we met. He was constantly interrupted by work calls and often left meals half-finished. My brother used to get jealous watching how attentive I was. "There you go, serving Ryan again. You don't even treat me that well. Honestly, I think you like that guy." There were many times I nearly told him the truth. But Ryan would always step away immediately, ruffle my hair like I was his little sister, and laugh as he called me his sworn sister. That alone was enough to make things clear. Never intended to make our relationship public. For 5 whole years, he never once posted anything about me on his social media, not even a private post visible only to me. It was as if he didn't want to leave a single trace of the love we once shared. But because I was so madly in love with him, I was willing to stay hidden in the shadows again and again. As I continued eating in silence, my brother joked, "Aren't you going to check on your beloved Ryan? Be careful, or he'll run off with another girl." My hand holding the chopsticks paused for a moment. If he runs off with another girl, what does that have to do with me? As a so-called sworn sister, I had no reason to interfere, right? My brother studied me closely, as if trying to read something in my expression. Today was Ryan's birthday. We had agreed that today would be the day we finally made our relationship public. But I never expected him to bring his unattainable love, Victoria. Just then, Ryan and Victoria came back. Her eyes were red as if she'd been crying, and Ryan was holding her hand, gently comforting her. At the sight, my brother whistled. "Ryan, Victoria, are you two back together?" As soon as those words left his mouth, Ryan's head shot up, a flicker of panic in his eyes. "What nonsense are you talking about? She's just an old classmate. I was just worried about her. What's wrong with that?" But my shameless brother leaned in even closer. "I'm your old classmate too. Why don't you worry about me a little?" Ryan chuckled and shoved him. "Get lost." Seeing Victoria clinging to him so tenderly, I took my brother by the arm and gently pulled him away. "Don't bother Ryan and Victoria in their little world of two. Come, sit down and eat." Then I turned to Ryan with a bright smile. "Isn't that right, little brother? Ryan froze at my words. He looked at me with a complex expression but said nothing. He simply accompanied Victoria to the exit. As soon as they left, whispers began to swirl around us. Told you, the unattainable love always wins. Just look at them, tonight theory definitely getting back together. Of course. Years ago, Victoria had kidney failure and urgently needed a transplant. Ryan didn't even hesitate to give her one of his kidneys. Even before he recovered, he was already in her hospital room taking care of her. He gave her half his life. Now that she's back, there's no way they'll ever be apart again. Hearing those words, a searing pain spread through my chest. I could hardly breathe. So their fates had already been tied together long ago. And I was just a fool clinging to a love that was never meant to see the light. In my past life, everything changed after I married Ryan. He never touched me again. We slept in separate rooms. Even the chopsticks we used had to be kept separate. It was only when his parents pressured him to have a child that he reluctantly held me, just to fulfill his duty. That night, he insisted on turning off the lights and kept his eyes shut the entire time, as if enduring unbearable humiliation. The next morning, he went straight to Victoria's house and didn't come back for the rest of the night. One winter, I caught the flu and could barely move in bed. I asked him to take me to the hospital, but he impatiently refused, saying he had too much work. In reality, he was at a nail salon with Victoria, watching her get a manicure. The staff even complimented them as a lovely couple. When I went into labor, the house was filled with blood. I called him in tears. He finally lost his patience. It's just childbirth. It's not like you're going to die. Why all the drama? Call a taxi and go to the hospital yourself. I'm busy. If it's not something serious, I'm hanging up. Before I could say another word, he ended the call. I tried dialing again, but his phone was already turned off. But on Victoria's profile, she had just posted 8 consecutive photos of them celebrating her birthday at Disneyland. In every 9-photo collage, the center image was always the same, Ryan and Victoria kissing passionately. At that moment, I lost all will to live. Ryan, if you never loved me, what was the point of bringing this child into the world? I made sure there was no chance of survival. I threw my phone out the window and watched as the blood spread across the floor. I died from massive hemorrhage. And even then, Ryan thought I was just pretending. At the birthday party without Ryan, everyone quickly went back to their own conversations. I had no desire to stay. After dinner, I left. Ryan, who used to text me every 3 minutes, was strangely silent that night. Outside, fireworks burst in the sky to welcome the new year, but I felt no joy. At midnight, a flash lit up my window. Ryan, who rarely posted on social media, suddenly updated his status. In the photo, Victoria was sleeping on his shoulder with a peaceful, sweet expression. The caption had only one word: her. Within seconds, the comments flooded in. May you be happy forever. Congratulations on your wedding. Wishing you eternal love. Out of habit, I liked the post, but when I refreshed the page, it had already been deleted. A second later, Victoria messaged me. Ryan took me home, and I must have fallen asleep on his shoulder. It was late, and I didn't feel comfortable letting him leave, so I asked him to stay over tonight. Hope you don't mind. I replied indifferently with a simple, from now on, whatever Ryan did and whoever he was with had nothing to do with me. Just as I was about to sleep, I received a message from Ryan. What now? Were they so in sync they even thought the same way? Victoria just got back to the country and didn't have time to shop for New Year clothes. Don't you have some new outfits? Lend her one for tomorrow. The malls are closed and we probably won't have time to buy anything. Reading that message, my already sunken mood hit rock bottom. Clothes I had bought for myself, clothes I hadn't even worn, yet now I had. To give them to the woman he loved most? Who was I to him? Out of pure spite, I didn't reply. I turned off my phone and went to sleep. Chapter 4. I never imagined that the next morning, Ryan would show up at my house with Victoria. At exactly 10 o'clock, the doorbell rang. My brother answered it and found Ryan and Victoria holding a pile of gifts. Everyone in my family, except for me, welcomed them warmly. Ryan had lost his parents when he was a child and was raised by his grandmother. Since we were neighbors, my parents had always treated him like a son. When he entered, Ryan gave me a deep look. My mother smiled at Victoria and said, "You must be Ryan's girlfriend. It's been so many years. You look even more beautiful now." "Thank you, Auntie. It's been years, but you still look so young." Victoria was an expert at flattery. With just a few sweet words, she had my parents smiling from ear to ear. "Lily, what are you doing hiding in your room? Come say hello." I obediently served tea to Ryan and Victoria and respectfully wished them, "Happy New Year, little brother." "Happy New Year, Victoria." Ryan's expression grew even harder to read. While I was in the bathroom, I received a message from him. "Why are you upset?" I read it and left it on read. During lunch, there was a minor seating issue. I sat in my usual spot, but without saying a word, Ryan sat next to me. That was my brother's seat. My brother looked at Ryan, then at the empty chair next to Victoria, and widened his eyes in disbelief. "Hey, why are you taking my seat? Go sit next to your girlfriend." Saying that, he nudged Ryan to get up. After a few seconds of awkward shuffling, Ryan ended up sitting directly across from me. But the moment he settled in, it felt as though my seat was covered in thorns. His gaze was intense and heavy. I looked away and focused on my food. Midway through the meal, Ryan got up to answer a phone call. I glanced at his empty bowl, hesitated for a moment, but ultimately decided to ignore it. When he returned, he looked at his bowl and then at me. My brother noticed his reaction and quickly intervened. "We're family. No one's going to steal your food. Don't make Lily feel uncomfortable." At that moment, my mother glanced at Ryan and then at me with a suspicious look. Then, out of the blue, she asked right at the table, "Lily, look, Ryan brought his girlfriend this year. When are you going to bring a boyfriend for us to meet?" Ryan opened his mouth like he was about to say something, but I interrupted him before he could speak. "If Mom, Dad, or my brothers have someone to introduce me to, I'd be happy to meet him." Chapter 5. In the past, whenever my family brought up this topic, I always rejected it outright. But this time, my answer was different. My brother was so thrilled, he nearly cried. He gave me a hearty slap on the shoulder. "Sis, you've finally come to your senses. If you really want to meet someone, after this meal I'll introduce you to a handsome guy." I laughed along with him, but my eyes couldn't help drifting toward Ryan. His lips were tight, and his expression dark and uncomfortable. While everyone else was joking around, Ryan suddenly interrupted. "Auntie, don't joke like that. Victoria's just an old classmate." My mother was taken aback, and Victoria's smile froze. And as if he couldn't resist adding fuel to the fire, my brother playfully chimed in, "So you're still single? Why don't we set you up with Lily then?" In that moment, my already unsettled heart tightened painfully. Ryan immediately gave my brother a slight push. "Stop joking. Lily is my sister." And just like that, whatever hope remained inside meddied completely. I took a deep breath and forced the most natural smile I could. "Exactly, brother. Don't say silly things. Ryan is like a second brother to me." A gathering with an unexpected twist. After lunch, Ryan left with Victoria, and we had no contact in the following days. I went on with my life as usual, eating well, going out with friends, enthusiastically attending class reunions. On the 5th night of the new year, my brother organized a get-together with his old friends. Seeing I had no plans, he insisted I come along. I got into bed early and refused, but then he said, "Tonight is a big moment in your second brother's life. As his sister, you have to be there to witness it." It wasn't until we arrived that I learned the truth. Victoria planned to confess her feelings to Ryan and ask him to get back together. According to the rumors, ever since she returned to the country, their relationship had visibly grown stronger. Many believed their reconciliation was just around the corner. A classmate who worked at a jewelry store even mentioned that Ryan had visited 2 days ago to pick out a ring. And there was a 90% chance it was for Victoria. I knew most of my brother's friends, and as soon as I walked in, Several greeted me warmly. They complimented how much I'd changed and jokingly told me to pick a single guy from the group. I laughed and joked along as if nothing was wrong. Just a few meters away, Ryan was watching silently, saying nothing. Before dinner started, Victoria pulled me aside. "Lily, I know Ryan treats you really well and listens to everything you say. So when I confess to him, could you say something nice about me? That way, we'll have a better chance of getting back together." On the surface, she seemed sweet and gentle, but inside, she was full of spite. She knew I loved Ryan. She also knew that since he never wanted to make our relationship public, I had no choice but to remain silent and endure it. Now she wanted to use my love for him to crush me even further. But what she didn't know is that after everything I'd lived through in my previous life, I no longer felt anything for him. So I smiled at her, even brighter than she did. "Of course. Don't worry, I'll do everything I can to help you." Victoria pursed her lips slightly before returning to the hall. Chapter 6. At the table, Ryan began acting strangely, constantly filling my bowl with food, exactly the way I used to do for him in the past. When the waiter brought out a chicken stew, Ryan picked out a piece and placed it in my bowl. I blocked the bowl with my hand and smiled. "Little brother, I've grown up. I can serve myself. You'd better give it to Victoria." The piece of chicken hovered awkwardly in the air. Noticing the situation, Victoria quickly lifted her bowl and accepted it. "Ryan, maybe Lily likes someone here tonight. You don't have to worry about her so much." As she spoke, the others at the gathering stood up one after another, raising their glasses in a toast to welcome Victoria. Just as Victoria picked up her glass, Ryan snatched it from her. Victoria gets tipsy after just one sip of alcohol. I'll drink for her. Without hesitation, he downed the drink in one go. The room erupted in applause. One drink turned into two, then three. His face gradually turned red. Victoria reached out to stop him, her voice as sweet as honey. "Ryan, you don't have to drink so much for me." I didn't know whether he was drunk already or not, but he looked at Victoria with infinite tenderness. "It's fine. You can't handle alcohol, and they're clearly testing you." A murmur of excitement swept through the room. Everyone could tell this was the moment Ryan had been waiting for. Victoria's cheeks were slightly flushed. She gently parted her lips and said, "Ryan, after all these years, I still can't forget you. Let's get back together, okay?" "Say yes. Say yes," the crowd started chanting. Ryan stood frozen, as if he hadn't expected things to escalate this far. The setting was perfect, the leading lady confessing her love with courage, waiting for the hero to simply nod. A love worthy of admiration. A couple destined to be together. Watching the pair in the spotlight, I clapped along with the others and shouted, "A beautiful and loyal girl like Victoria is hard to find. Little brother, why haven't you said yes yet?" Ryan looked at me, completely stunned. "Lily, what the hell is wrong with you? Aren't you my girlfriend? Why are you pushing me into this?" The moment Ryan spoke, the entire room fell into dead silence. My brother was the first to react, staring at Ryan in shock before turning to me. "Sister, what did he just call you, girlfriend?" I smiled calmly. "Brother, can't you see? Ryan's drunk. He's just joking." But Ryan didn't seem pleased with my response. He pushed Victoria aside and walked toward me. Instinctively, I took a step back, and at that exact moment, the sound of glass shattering on the floor broke the atmosphere. Ryan immediately turned his head, his expression shifting to panic as he ran toward the source of the sound. A piece of broken glass had cut Victoria's leg. Her pale skin contrasted sharply with the deep red of her blood, creating a shocking scene. Ryan's brows furrowed with concern. Without hesitation, he picked her up in his arms. Even in that moment, Victoria shot me a sideways glance, clinging to Ryan's neck with a pitiful expression. "Ryan, everyone's watching. You should put me down. If not, people might misunderstand our relationship. Lily looks a little upset. Shouldn't you go check on her?" Her voice was perfectly measured, loud enough for me to hear, soft enough to seem innocent. She did it on purpose. She wanted Ryan to confirm their relationship in front of everyone. But, to my surprise, Ryan's expression didn't change. He gave me a brief glance before turning back to Victoria. Ignore her. Let's go to the hospital first. And with that, he walked out of the room, carrying her in his arms. Chapter 7. As soon as Ryan and Victoria left, my brother came over, clearly excited and dying to gossip. Ryan can drink without getting drunk. Tell me the truth, what's really going on between you two? Knowing how much of a blabbermouth he was, I decided to keep the truth hidden. I shook my head. There's nothing. Maybe Victoria caught him off guard, and he didn't know how to respond. My brother still wanted to keep asking, but I stopped him with a gesture and changed the subject. I never should have come to this gathering. As soon as dinner ended, I made up an excuse and left. I walked alone through the streets, watching couples, friend groups, and families gathered together. The air was full of laughter, and the crackle of fireworks lit up their happy faces. Suddenly, this New Year's felt completely empty. I quickened my pace. I just wanted to get home, shower, and sleep. But just as I was about to reach my building, Ryan appeared. I hurried my steps, trying to get inside before he could catch up to me. But he was faster. He blocked my way. I tried to dodge him, but he grabbed my wrist and pulled me into his chest. If this had been my past life, I probably would have clung to his warmth, rested my head on his chest, and cried until morning. But this time I coldly pushed him away. Little brother, this is my building. What if my parents see us and get the wrong idea? He froze, his outstretched hand hesitating before finally withdrawing. Sometimes I really didn't understand him. If he was so ashamed of being with me, why did he insist on staying by my side? His tone turned colder. What's wrong with you today? Why did you go along with everyone's teasing? I shrugged indifferently. Was I wrong? Victoria's never forgotten you. And you once risked your life to save her. I think you two make a great couple. Getting back together would be the logical thing. I was just stating facts. But Ryan took my words differently. For the first time that night, he smiled. And what about you? Have you forgotten who you are? Who is it that once said if I got too close to another girl, a certain someone, Ryan? I looked him straight in the eyes and spoke each word clearly. We are already over. A second later, Ryan finally showed signs of panic. Who said we're over? I don't accept that. You don't accept what? Before he could answer, my brother's loud voice rang out behind me. I turned around with a smile and explained, Ryan wants to buy a ring for Victoria. He came to ask me what style a girl might like. He said if I didn't give him a good answer, he wouldn't let me go home. Ryan's face darkened instantly. He grabbed my arm, about to say something, but my brother interrupted. If you're giving it to her, shouldn't you ask her directly? Why are you asking Lily? Then, as if realizing something, his expression changed to a teasing grin. Or is the ring actually for Lily? Hearing that, Ryan's face flushed red. Chapter 8. I took Ryan's fingers and pried them off my arm one by one. If you've already decided to get back with Victoria, go to her. She's hurt and needs someone to take care of her. Lily, do you hear yourself? Who said I want to get back with her? Ryan's voice rose with frustration, drawing the attention of nearby passers-by. My brother frowned. Damn it, Ryan. What's your problem? Whether you get back with Victoria or not is your business. Why are you yelling at Lily? Ryan looked like he wanted to argue, but I cut him off by gently nudging my brother. It's cold. Let's go home. The moment I stepped through the door, I didn't even have time to take off my shoes before my phone started ringing. Ryan. I hung up immediately. But he kept calling over and over again. In the end, he sent a message. What time will you go to bed? I'll drop by later. I have a lot to say. Can we talk? I didn't want to get tangled up with him anymore. I turned off my phone. Just as I switched off the lights and settled into bed, someone knocked on my bedroom door. Lily. Someone wants to see you. Come out now. I pulled the blanket over my head. I'm asleep. Whatever it is, let's talk tomorrow. It's Victoria. My eyes snapped open. I frowned. What was she doing here? Victoria stood outside my door holding several elegantly wrapped gift bags, a radiant smile on her face. I brought you some skincare products from overseas. I meant to give them to you earlier, but I forgot. But the moment my bedroom door closed, her smile vanished completely. I didn't bother faking politeness either. You didn't come here just to give me gifts, did you? I asked bluntly. Victoria dropped the act instantly. She strolled around the room, sat down in my chair, and crossed her legs with shameless ease like she owned the place. Lily, I won't beat around the bush. I know while I was abroad, Ryan got very close to you. But now that I'm back, I'm going to marry him and start a family. I hope you'll keep your distance. A giant question mark slowly formed in my mind. Are you misunderstanding something? Ryan and I are like siblings. Are you done? If so, please leave. I want to sleep. We weren't even close friends, and now she was here slapping on labels that made no sense. It was unbearably irritating. But in the next instant, Victoria's face twisted with rage. If it weren't for you, Ryan and I would have gotten back together tonight. Stop pretending Ryan loves Yotsant, you see. Chapter 9. If this were my past life, I would have told Victoria without hesitation Ryan loves me. But in this life, I finally saw things clearly. Ryan's heart still belonged to Victoria. I'll say it one more time, Ryan and I are like siblings. Now and forever. That will never change. If you want him, fight for him. But don't waste your time on may have nothing to do with this. Victoria was utterly stunned. For a long moment, she couldn't say a word. In the end, she left the gift bags on the floor and walked out without another word. But instead of feeling victorious, I just felt more drained. In my past life, not long after my engagement to Ryan was announced, Victoria came to see me in private. I thought she came to stir up trouble. But to my surprise, she was eerily calm. She pulled out her phone and started scrolling through her message history with Ryan, showing me page by page. From the moment they became friends, their polite exchanges at first, the growing familiarity, their first date, his confession, their first day as a couple. Even after their breakup, even during the years Victoria was abroad, they never completely lost contact. On the surface, the conversations seemed friendly. But in reality, there was a hidden intimacy in every word. I still remember how she watched the light in my eyes dim as I read through the messages. Then, with a triumphant smile, she delivered the final blow. See? Ryan has only ever loved me. So, what if you're marrying him? His heart will never be yours. If he's marrying you, it's not out of love, it's out of responsibility. I refused to believe it. I thought a message history could never replace the moments Ryan and I shared. But I had no idea Victoria's words were prophetic. And she was right. I barely slept that night. By dawn, I was still wide awake. Then I heard my brother knocking on the door. Lily, didn't you say you wanted to meet someone? I've got a friend who just got back from abroad. He's a doctor like you. Want to meet him? I instantly sat up in bed. Yes. Chapter 10. Out with the old, in with the new. The best way to distract myself was by meeting someone new. Seeing me up and getting ready with enthusiasm, my mom sighed. You've really matured. I laughed sarcastically. I owe it to Ryan. My brother's friend was straightforward and efficient. Within minutes, he confirmed a time for the date and asked for my contact info, letting my brother send me his WeChat. When I added him, I noticed his profile picture was a black cat. I felt a strange sense of familiarity because mine was a British short-hair cat. He messaged first, suggesting we meet at a Hunan restaurant near my place. How did you know I love spicy food? I asked, surprised to see my favorite restaurant's name. Asked your brother, he replied. I liked people who did their homework before meeting someone. I started to feel a certain fondness for him. On my way to the restaurant, my phone started ringing. Ryan. I sighed in frustration and declined the call. Since I didn't answer, he began sending messages. Lily, where are you? I'm coming to find you. We need to talk. Lily, at least say something. I don't want us to become distant. I switched my phone to Do Not Disturb. When I entered the restaurant, a waiter led me to the table Bruno had reserved. From afar, I saw a polite-looking man with glasses sitting by the window. That must be my brother's friend. As I arrived, Bruno greeted me warmly and, to my surprise, handed me a small gift. Inside the box was a beautifully hand-carved wooden jewelry box. I gently turned the key, and a charming melody filled the air. The birdsong blended with the music, accompanied by the gentle murmur of a stream. It was a peaceful, soothing sound. Bruno saw the joy on my face and suddenly said, "I made it myself." I looked at him, surprised. "Wait, you're a doctor. You know how to make things like this too?" Bruno looked a bit shy, but there was a proud sparkle in his eyes. His subtle expressions made him seem like an excited child. My grandfather was a carpenter. I learned from him when I was little. I gave him a thumbs up, genuinely impressed by his skills. As we continued chatting, I felt comfortable around him. By the time we were almost done eating, I was already joking with him. "This is such a valuable gift for a first meeting. I don't know what to give you in return. I can't draw or sing." Bruno laughed. "No worries. Just meeting again would be a perfect return gift." We both laughed. But in that moment, a familiar voice interrupted our conversation. That voice completely destroyed my good mood. I turned around. Ryan was there, disheveled and exhausted. Chapter 11. "Lily, do you have any idea how hard it's been to find you?" Ryan leaned on his knees, panting as if he'd run all the way here. But the moment he saw Bruno sitting across from me, his expression tensed instantly. He stormed over, grabbed my wrist, and yanked me up from my seat. "No wonder you weren't answering my calls or messages. Lily, you move fast. We haven't even officially ended things, and you're already throwing yourself at another man." His voice wasn't too loud, but loud enough that several nearby tables turned to look. His grip hurt, and I tried to pull away, but he only tightened it. "Ryan, stop talking nonsense. Ever since your birthday, when you asked to end things, I accepted it. I'm single now. Whoever I go out with is none of your damn business." Ryan lost control. Furious, he lunged at me, trying to force a kiss right there in the restaurant. I wanted to slap him, but with both my wrists pinned, I couldn't move. Just then, a strong hand came between us. Bruno effortlessly pushed Ryan away and shielded me with his body. "Sir, if you don't back off, I'll call the police and report you for harassment." Ryan's face twisted with rage. "Who the hell are you? This is between me and my girlfriend. Back off." As he spoke, he grabbed Bruno's collar, trying to shove him aside. Unfortunately for Ryan, he was shorter than Bruno, and instead of pushing Bruno away, he ended up being lifted off the ground. Let me go." Bruno remained composed. "Sir, with this kind of violent behavior, I find it hard to believe you're really her boyfriend. What if you're just some criminal trying to kidnap this lady? Everyone hearing you think that's possible." Bruno's calm, gentlemanly tone won the support of nearby diners. Realizing he couldn't win, Ryan stopped resisting. But just as Bruno let him go, Ryan lunged and tackled him to the ground. The two of them crashed down, exchanging blows. Even the restaurant's security guards couldn't separate them. Showing no emotion, I pulled out my phone and dialed 110 to call the police. Then I called Victoria. "Come deal with your boyfriend." But to my surprise, her voice was cold and distant. "Don't ever call me about Ryan again. Ryan and I are never getting back together." Before I could respond, she hung up. I frowned in confusion. What was going on? At the station, the police scolded them both, gave a warning, and soon released them. But as we stepped outside, Ryan stared at me, his emotions out of control. I let out a tired sigh. "Ryan, please stop harassing me." But before I could finish, Ryan blurted out, "That night, I was drunk. It was just a joke. I didn't mean it. Lily, I never wanted to get back with Victoria. The one I love is you." A cold laugh escaped me. "You say you love me? Then why did we have to hide our relationship for 5 years? Why did I have to live in the shadows like I was something to be ashamed of?" I looked him straight in the eyes, my voice like a blade. "Ryan, you don't love me. You only love yourself." Then I turned and walked away. But like a loyal dog, Ryan followed me immediately. I stopped and warned him coldly, "If you take one more step, I'll call the police." Bruno stepped forward and blocked Ryan's path. At last, Ryan had no choice but to stand there, watching us walk away. What I didn't expect was Ryan would go public and announce our relationship to the world. The next morning before the sun was even up, I was still deep asleep when bang.
Bang. Bang.
My brother pounded on the door. Lily, get out here now. I have something important to ask you. Half asleep, eyes barely open, I opened the door only to find Ryan standing next to my brother. Instinctively, I tried to shut the door. But my brother blocked it with his foot. Lily, Ryan told me everything. Don't you have anything to say? Still groggy, I rubbed my temples. There's nothing to say. Ryan and I are sworn siblings. That's all. But my brother frowned. Then, why did he tell me you two were together for 5 years? What's that about? Hearing that, I laughed. Oh, so we've been together for 5 years? All right. Second bro thirdo, you have any proof? Ryan opened his mouth, but in the end, he couldn't say a word. Chapter 12. 5 years in a relationship, and he never once posted about me. If anything, it was a group photo, never, just the two of us. 5 years in a relationship, and every gift we exchanged was something to eat or drink. Nothing lasting. Because he didn't want to leave any trace. He didn't want people to find out about us that I hesitated. I felt hurt. But Ryan always had an excuse. You're young. I don't want your family to oppose us. But I wasn't that young anymore. From 18 to 23, I had lost 5 years of my life. And now, standing here, Ryan couldn't even prove that we had been together. Suddenly, something came to Ryan's mind. Your phone. You have pictures of us. Show them to your brother. I did have some, but the ones that were just the two of us, I had deleted them all. The only ones left were group photos, the ones we took with my brother. On the side, my brother was already starting to doubt everything. He looked at Ryan like he was crazy. So, you're saying you were together for 5 years? Really? Then, how is it possible that no one knew? And worst of all, how the hell do you not have a single piece of proof? Ryan, are you even sure you were in a relationship with my sister? What kind of pathetic excuse for a man are you? Ryan tried to defend himself, but my brother had lost all patience. Lily, tell him. Tell him we were together for 5 years. Lily, have you forgotten everything I told you? Have you forgotten how much you loved me? Hearing that filled me with deep disgust. I turned to my brother. It's obvious he's still drunk. Take him away. That very night, I blocked Ryan from everything, every number, every social media. I had already said everything that needed to be said. Anything more would be harassment. But Ryan didn't give up. He came to my house several times, causing such a scene that my parents had to chase him away with a broom. Even they were baffled. Such a polite young man, but it seems he has mental issues. Maybe he broke up with Victoria and now wants to use Lily as a backup. Under my brother's insistence, I finally told him everything. 5 years of a hidden relationship. 5 years of being treated like a shameful secret. He listened in silence. But instead of scolding, Mehe gently stroked my hair with a sigh. You fool. Why didn't you tell me anything? If I had known Ryan was such a jerk, I would have made sure he was out of your life years ago. His voice softened. Lily, listen to me. Any man who makes you feel like you have to hide, any man who makes you suffer in a relationship, leave him. Without hesitation. Do you understand? I nodded. Chapter 13. After my vacation, I returned to the hospital. As soon as I entered the nurse's station, I heard my co-workers chatting excitedly. Did you hear? There's a new surgeon. He's tall, handsome, and graduated from a prestigious medical school abroad. When they mentioned his name, my heart skipped a beat. But then I shook my head. It couldn't be him. The world was too big for such a coincidence. However, the next morning the hospital hung a welcome banner and even held a reception ceremony. That was when I realized the new doctor was indeed Bruno. As applause filled the room, Bruno saw me. And he smiled. A long smile. Too long. So long that everyone followed his gaze and landed it on me. My coworker nudged me with curiosity. Hey, do you two know each other? I quickly lied.
No.
First time I've seen him. But as soon as I said that, Bruno walked straight toward me. Lily, what a coincidence. He reached out his hand, and the whole room fell silent. A month later, the entire hospital knew Bruno was pursuing me. He waited for me to finish my shifts, brought me dinner during night duties. Thanks to him, I even gained 2 kilos. The air between us was inevitably ambiguous. All it needed was a small push. But what I never imagined was seeing Ryan again at the hospital. It had been over 2 months since the last time I saw him, and now was here accompanying another woman to a medical consultation. When I saw her face, I was stunned. She looked so much like me. Ryan saw me. For a second, he froze. Then he began to walk toward me. I quickly turned around and pushed my way through the crowd toward the elevator. I wanted to get away from him, but in my hurry I bumped into a firm chest.
Bruno.
He didn't move away. Instead, pulled me into a tighter embrace. The posture was intimate. People around us stared. I looked back. The elevator doors were closing. Through the narrow gap I saw Ryan's face, one last time. Completely crushed. But my heart remained calm. No waves. No emotions. Nothing. Goodbye, Ryan. From today on, you no longer exist in my world.